guys, Roxanne here from Tiny Home Living. Well, I'm going to do something new today, something I haven't done before. It's a really cold, frosty day, one of the coldest days we've had so far, but the frost is covering the trees and everything, and it looks so beautiful out, so it makes it so much nicer. But I'm going to try something new today. Before I get started, I just want to ask you to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this video with your family and friends. I sure do appreciate it. Let's get started. Now when we went we split a whole beef with friends a couple of years ago, and you almost always have to specify. Sometimes they'll ask if you want the fat. They'll ask you if you want the bones too, which is great for making bone broth. And that's another thing I haven't done with beef bones before. But anyway, I didn't get around to doing it a couple of years ago. But what I did was I called the butcher where I got our beef butchered and asked them if they had any excess fat, because a lot of people don't want it. They don't want to be bothered with this. So I'm going to try making tallow with this. So I'm not sure how many pounds this weighs. Maybe I'll weigh it and then I can sort of see how many jars I get. But this was $5, which I think is pretty cheap. Now the reason I got on this tangent is because there's so much on social media and in the news now about cooking with tallow. Now, oddly enough, McDonald's used to deep fry with tallow, along with a lot of other fast food companies. And they no longer do that. They use all the seed oils. And I won't say any more than that because I'll probably get sued or banned or blocked or something. But anyway, an advertisement came up on my Facebook feed, and it was a jar of tallow. It was only 400 grams, so less than a pound, and it was $28 and something on sale. That was 20% off. Of course, a lot of people are making their own face creams using leaf fat, which I guess is the stuff around the organs. It's a little more pure and doesn't have any smell to it. And the 50 ml containers of face cream some of them were $40-some. So I'm not going to make face cream yet. I'm going to try making just tallow for cooking. There's so much in the news about the health benefits of that. And so I'm going to try it. I've got a whole bunch of jars. I had to go and get some of that size because I was out of that size. I've got some in the oven to sterilize, but I'm going to do this really low and slow, like low temperature. I've got my two biggest cast iron pans. This is a size 28, I think. This one's a 35 oval, like Crusette. Yeah, this one is a 28. So I've got my purple 28 and my green 35, and I think I should be able to get this bag in these two pots. And what I'm going to do, I've got the wood stove going. I'm going to put one on the cooler side of the stove. I'm not going to put it over there because you want to cook it, you want it to simmer and render really slowly. So I'm going to put one in the oven, but leave the door open so it only gets to be about 200 degrees. And I'm going to put one on top of the stove and let it simmer and render there. So I've got a bunch of jars ready already. Look at my cart. It's completely covered. I can hardly use it again. I got so many things going on in the kitchen here. So I'm not going to be able to get it canned today because it is already 4:15. So I'm going to get it cut up and put it into these two pots and rendering, and then I will get it into jars tomorrow and in the pressure canner. So I just thought I'd mention, I am pulling off the membranes. So I am being a little bit fussy. You don't really have to. You could just cut it all up, throw it all in, and it'd be fine. I am trimming this so that, you know, this side is off, and then I'm just got more of the pure white fat. This big piece I'm not going to use because I can't get that back cut off of it. So it's just really random. But I just thought I'd mention that you could just cut this all up and cube it, no problem, throw it all in, but I'm actually going to pack this into a net for the birds at the bird feeder. And that'll be good for them too. And then anything, any little bits of meat and everything left over after this is rendered will go to the chickens and keep them warm for the winter. Okay guys, I thought you would like to know this is 4 pounds 6 ounces that I trimmed off, most of the meat and everything. I might render that separately just for the chickens. Or I might just put it in a bag, a net for the birds. Not really sure. So between this pot and this pot, I have got just a hair over 9 pounds. So that means the bag had almost 15 pounds of fat in it. So I'm sure it'll be different for every bag, but for $5, I think I'll probably get a decent amount of tallow out of here. And this is going to be a little more pure than if I had put all of this stuff in with it. And like I said, nothing goes to waste here, so this will either go to the birds or the chickens. Any fat helps them keep warm in the winter, so I might render it and I might just put it in a net like this for the birdies. Now, because I am reheating supper in the oven, since it's warm already, these two had the pure stuff and I decided to put the trimmed stuff in the yellow. This is an oval 29, this is an oval 35. And I'm just curious to see what the difference in color and everything is. And also, because it does end up going solid at room temperature, I will still be able to put that into a net or something for the birds. So we'll see what happens. So I just want to show you the difference. This is rendered down. It's the next day. I'm actually going to separate this one, put it in this jar. The stuff from the cleaned up fat, trimmed fat, is much more clear and gold. I still don't have the other pot finished, but this is what I had in the big green pot and some of what's in the purple pot, and then I put the purple pot back in the oven to render down a little more. Now I did take the stuff from the leftover stuff, the crunchy stuff, out to the chickens already. I should have showed that on camera. It really looks kind of like those pork rinds that people eat when they're on keto diet. This is a little cloudier, I think because of the meat and everything. So I'm just going to keep this separate and can the stuff that's nice and clear and golden. And I'll use this stuff for cooking, but I'll put it in a jar and use it first. Now Chris said he does have some onion bags that he's saved. So we're going to put all of this stuff, once it's cold and we can sort of form it into a ball, we'll put it in those onion skins and hang it up for the birds. Well, this was not the best laid plan. I just put this in the jar, and of course it went too high up the side of the cone and was overflowing. There's still quite a bit in there, so I'm just holding it up so I've got quite a mess on the counter. Yikes. Yeah. Oh well, I should have done it into a bowl and done it separate that way rather than straight into the jar. So not an awful lot there, but then there was a lot less fat and a lot more meat and other stuff in this batch. So like I said, I'll just keep this separate, use it for cooking, and I might even give this a little bit to a friend of mine that's really into eating healthy too. Now I had the oven door ajar, and the temperature with the door ajar like that was 200 in there, which is just perfect for rendering this. It's still boiling, which is really a little hotter than you really need it, but anyway, you can see the big difference in how much purer the fat is in this pot, and that's what I had in the green one too, as opposed to this one. So I think I might do the other batches like this too. I'm not really sure if it makes all that much difference when you put it all together, like the 15 pounds in one batch. I might just throw everything in together for the next batch and see, I'll be able to see the difference if it's just as golden and clear as it is here in the next batch with all the meat and bits and everything thrown in. just tip this pot so that I can get as much out of here as I can. And then I might render this meat down a little bit more. It's not as crusty and crunchy looking as the stuff that was in the big green oval. So when you've got different pots going, it's all rendering at a little bit different rate. And then we're giving this fat to the chickens, so it'll be good for them to have a little extra fat, some flavor to it. Get those new girls. Now I just saw a little piece of meat fall into the bowl. I'm gonna have to fish that out. So I am gonna put this on top of the stove and let it render down a little bit more. You can see how clear the liquid looks at the bottom of the pot. The only reason this looks a lot more yellow is because the bottom is starting to go white already because it's cooled from me emptying the green pot earlier. So that's as much as I'm going to render it down. That fat will be good for my girlies. Maybe you can get 4 little green eggs tomorrow. I'm going to get the rest of this strained and into the jars because I'm starting everything out sort of at room temperature. I'm not heating the jars really hot. They're already sterilized. I've got my lids on the wood stove right now, sterilizing those, and I'll get this fat into a pot for my chickens. So I warmed this up on the wood stove just long enough to get it to really pour nicely. The more it cools, the more it'll look, you know, white and be like lard. So it'll be solid at room temperature. So hopefully these 9 jars will hold what I've got here. Now let's see if I can do this with the minimum amount of it getting on the countertop. Now I'm just going to get the rims cleaned off. I've left a 1-inch head space on these jars. I ended up with 5. I thought I was going to get a little more than that, but we'll see. I might, like I said, do it differently next time and just throw the whole 15 pounds in together and see what happens. But these ones should be fairly pure, which is good. Depending on, I don't think I can use these for cosmetics, but I'll maybe have to do a little more research on that. It looks pretty darn good. It's very clear and very golden colored when it's liquid. So now I'm going to pressure can this for 75 minutes. So this is going to be kind of a long process because I'm going to heat it up slowly on the wood stove, and you know, it'll take a while to get it heated up and then to get that 10 minutes of steam coming out, and then another 75 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure. So I can see some of this close to the rim, so I just want to make sure I'm getting, yeah, I can see a little bit here and there on the rim. Okay, so got those cleaned off. Now I've got to get my lids out of this boiling hot water. I cannot for the life of me find my little magnet. So I've been using tongs just very gently so that you don't scratch the coating on the lid. Whoops. Dip that one in there again. Like I say, the tongs are not the best scenario for doing this, but cannot find my magnet. I'll find it someday when I unpack the rest of my stuff, I guess. Okay, got the jars in here. Let's get this on the wood stove. I've got it nice and hot, and I think I'll sort of put it in the middle. I don't want to put it right over the circle and have it heat too quickly. So I'm just going to let it sit here for a short time, and I might move it over once it's nice and hot to speed up the process. So I let the steam blow for 10 minutes, put the weight on. This, the back part there didn't pop up. I had it over here by the wood stove, or the pipe, and the second I moved it over there, that popped up. So just the difference it makes having it, you know, at this spot as opposed to that spot. Now as soon as that pops up, the pressure starts to go up really fast, so I've got to stop it at 10 and do that for 75 minutes. So I'm going to move it over here once I get my 10 pounds of pressure, and that seems to work really well. Okay, that didn't take very long to get my 10 pounds of pressure. So all I'm going to do is very gently move this to the side, and hopefully it'll stop at 10 pounds. If it keeps going higher, I will move it over to the right a little bit more. So I moved the pressure canner from the wood stove down to here. I've got a heat-proof pad under it, and I'm just going to let this cool off and while I have a shower, and we'll see what the pressure's at when I get out, and we'll see how long this takes to cool off so that I can take the lid off. Okay, my pressure is at 0. That thing has popped down in. I will take the weight off, and I should be able to unload or open this now. Now I'm going to wear my oven mitts just in case there's some steam. I'm always burning myself. So this lid drip off. I heard one of the tins pop. Now I'll just move this over so I can put a tea towel on the counter and lift them onto the tea towel, because they will be pretty hot. Turn this light on so I can see a little better. This sure looks good. Now you can see what a beautiful golden color it is. And yeah, it looks like melted butter, really. It looks like all the lids have popped already. So basically I got 6 jars out of the 15 pounds because I got more than this 500 milliliters out of the other one that I'm not canning. So that, the cheapest I saw it was $12. So basically, I've got these 5 jars plus the one that, can I see that? I didn't put in the canner. So basically I got 6 500 milliliter jars. This one to me looks more pure. Mind you, this has already gone cold. So that this, they will all look like that once they've gone cold, like room temperature. Like I said, it's kind of like looking at lard or bacon fat or whatever. So the cheapest I've seen, the tallow, is $11.99, and the most expensive I saw online was 28 something, and that was 20% off. So I was like, holy smokes. I may in the future end up trying to make some face cream and stuff out of this, if it doesn't have any smell to it. That's the main thing. From what I understand, the leaf fat is what doesn't have any smell to it, and is a lot more pure. and is used for cosmetics. Now this, because I did separate the meat, it might work. I did notice a lot difference in the smell for that one batch. So by trimming all the meat and everything off. So we'll see. I mean, I guess I'm going to have to do some taste tests. And I think I might do one bag of the fat with it all mixed in together and just see if it looks as clear or as pure or if it has no smell or whatever. So I guess we'll just have to do some taste tests in the future. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this video with your family and friends. And we'll see you next time.